Shalom, this is Yara Batya, and we are starting back at the book of Genesis with our Torah portions for those who follow along with the Torah portions throughout the year. If you would like to get a schedule for the Torah portions, if you don't have one, I will leave a link down in the description. You can click on that and get a schedule of what the portions are for each week. And also, as you go throughout the series, I'm going to be doing going throughout the portions and just sharing some of my studies as I'm going through the portions each day and each week. I may share one or several videos with lessons and notes throughout the week, and we'll go from there. So as we're going through this, you'll notice that I will use some flashcards dealing with the Hebrew letters and the Hebrew words as we go throughout. And those flashcards are from Jewels and Scrolls, and I will leave a link to the Etsy page if you're interested in checking those out from the sister that does those. They're awesome. It's an awesome tool to use. Just got mine recently from her. So I'll leave that link in the description as well, so you can check that out if you're interested. And we are going to start here at Genesis, and for this video I'm going to deal with chapter 1, and I'm going to focus on what it is that we call good. We're going to take a look at what good is for this video. So we see in several verses that the Most High, as He's doing creation, He's going throughout creation, and it says Elohim saw that it was good. We see this a number of times as He goes through each day and He's creating, and He ends off by saying that what He created was good. In verse 4 it says that Elohim saw the light, that it was good. In verse 10 He did the land. He created the land, separated the water from the land, and we have the land and the seas that comes from that, and He said that it was good. In verse 12 we have the grass, the plants, and the trees that are coming forth, and He spoke that, and that came together, and He said that it was good. In verse 18 He had the two great lights that came into being, and He said that that was good. In verse 21 we have the sea creatures and the birds that are coming into being, and He saw that and said that that was good. And in verse 25 we have the livestock and the creeping creatures, the animals, and He created that and said that that was good. And then we see in verse 31, after He's created man, and it says, and Elohim saw all that He had made, and see, it was very good. It was very good. So after He saw how it all came together and all the elements were in place, He said that that was very good. And the word for good is TOWB. So in this verse, very good, it says TOWB miod. It was very good. So what is the word good? So the word good in Hebrew is TOWB, or TOWB. Some people will pronounce it TOWB. I prefer TOWB. Is more ancient, looking at the more ancient rendering of it. But so TOWB, if we look at the Hebrew, the T there in Hebrew reads from right to left. So we have the Tet, the Uau, and the Bet. The Tet, the Uau, and the Bet, and that is giving us the word TOWB. The Tet is a basket. That's the image we have for that, is a basket. Some definitions are contain, mud, surround. So it gives the connotation of surrounding something or containing something. The Uau, we're dealing with that. The image for that is a tent peg, and the definition for that is we're talking about hooking something, securing, adding, or adding, or the word and. So the idea of connecting something. And then we have Bet. Bet is a house. It's a tent. And the definition we have for that is in, house, family. Okay, so Tet Uau Bet. TOWB is the Hebrew word for good. So when we look at good, we have our different ideas, and the wonderful thing about Hebrew is something that's more concrete than our Greek thinking, because we think in a Western mindset, we think very abstract. What I say is good is one thing, but what you say is good can be something different. And what the Hebrew does, it kind of brings us back to a more concrete way of thinking of things, so that you can kind of see the function of it. So we can define anything as being good, but for the Most High, when He thinks about good, it does have a meaning of pleasant, but it also has the meaning of being functional. So when the Most High, we call anything good, anything that we decide is good. This sandwich was good. Anything, it was a good day. Anything that we think is good, we just call it good. But that can have different meanings. But the Most High calls things good when they are operating according to its rightful function, when it's operating the way that He intended, when it's functional. So when something is functional and it's in place, that becomes something that's pleasing and pleasant, and it becomes good because it's functioning the way that it was intended. Because the Most High, in His wisdom, put things together the way that it should be for the best possible outcome, to be beautiful and to be pleasant, in viewing it and in its function. When it all comes together, it's like you look at a relationship, you say, man, that's a beautiful relationship. It's not that the two people are necessarily just beautiful, but the way that it functions, the way that they operate together, you can look back and say, wow, that's good, that's pleasant, because it's functional. So that's the way that the Most High is thinking when He's looking at His creation. He's looking at how it's functioning together. So when He gets to the very end, He's like, wow, this is very good. Now that we have the land, the sea, the lights, and it's all functioning together. We have the animals in the sea, in the air, on the earth. Now I put man here, and I've given them the ability to multiply and to be fruitful. And now He sits back and He sees it all in operation. He's like, wow, that's good. And I get the connotation. I'm not a Hebrew scholar or anything. I'm just sharing my thoughts. But when I look at the Tet, which is a basket, and it says that it contains, and then you look at the family in the house. So I have the idea in my mind of how a basket is something that is surrounding and is containing. It has all the contents that you need are in it. Like, you think about giving somebody some kind of care basket, or care package, or a basket that has everything for that theme. They have everything that they need within that basket. So when you look at creation and you look at how it all came together, it's like it's all surrounded. I get the picture of how we say that the Most High has the world in His hands. And I could see if He just had His hands out, and everything that He's created was put together, and He just holds it up. Like, wow, this is all surrounded in His glory, surrounded in His esteem, and in His light, and in His wisdom. All of that is contained in this this house, this family, this kingdom that He's put together, and it's secured together, by Him, by His Ruach, by His Spirit. So the picture just comes together, and He stands back and says, "This is very good. This is TOWB. This is good. It's functional." So that just gives us an idea of what good looks like, and it gives us an idea of what the opposite of good would be. So when we look at the word evil in scripture, is the Hebrew word ra. Ra is the word for evil. When we talk about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, ra in Hebrew. So if good is functional, when we're looking at something that's ra or evil, it's going to be something that's dysfunctional, something that's not functioning the way that the Most High intended for it to function. So I'm going to give a few examples of some controversial things that we know according to scriptures to be evil, but that a lot of people have an issue with seeing it, because we think of the word evil, and it's, you think of the devil, or you think of a murderer, or, you think we have our own abstract ideas and subjective ways of seeing these words. But when you look at and bring it back to the biblical meanings of it, it kind of puts it into perspective. So I asked the question, why is it evil, why is it raw then to lay with someone of the same sex, or to lay with someone who's not your spouse. And it is raw, it's evil, because that particular interaction doesn't function. It's dysfunctional. It doesn't function according to Yah's design and according to his purpose for the body, his purpose for relationships, his purpose for the overall community, his purpose for how he's designed things to fit together. So because it's not functional according to the Most High's purpose and plan and his design, it's dysfunctional, it's raw, it's evil, it's not good. But the ways that the Most High have designed for us to operate in those type of relationships, interpersonal relationships and family, is good, because it's functional. It's functional not just for the people that are in the relationship, but also for the community at large. So it's functional. Another example, why is it considered to be evil or raw to eat the flesh of a pig, to eat pork, to eat a pig? And the reason why it's evil is because it perverts the function according to Yah's design and Yah's purpose for the body of a pig. First of all, the way that he designed the pig, the way he designed their digestive system, and the function and purpose of it, and the way that he designed the human body and our digestive system, and what he intended to be for our consumption. And when we operate outside of that, it becomes dysfunctional to the system, as far as what the pig is designed to do, and for our body, and the way that it receives that when it enters into our body. It causes our body to become dysfunctional. It doesn't accept it as something that is a nutrient for our body, because it wasn't designed that way. So now we're doing things that seem good in our own eyes, but it's not functional according to Yah's purpose and design. And now we're bringing on death for our own bodies, and that's not functional for us or for the kingdom. So again, another thing, why is it evil or raw to not keep the Shabbat? It's evil and it's raw. It's not functional, because now we're causing this whole day, this seventh day, to not function according to Yah's design and his purpose. He designed the seventh day to be for rest, and designed for us to rest ourselves, and to cause those who other people who would be working to rest as well. So when we fall out of line with this, then now we're affecting other people. We're not getting what we're supposed to get on that day. We're not giving the Most High the portion that he's given us to, or set aside for us to set aside for him. We fall out of the right function. So this day was blessed and set apart for a specific function, and now we're being dysfunctional, and so we're not being good, we're being raw, we're doing evil on this day. So most of us would like to say, okay, well, I'm a good person, I'm a TOWB, I'm a TOWB person. But when we really look at the meaning of what that means, how functional are we really? How functional is our life according to the word of Yah? How functional is our life, according to his design and purpose? In each area of our lives, is it functioning according to goodness, or are we being dysfunctional? According to his word, according to the kingdom, not according to our own desires and our own thoughts, our own opinions, our own personal ways of doing things, our own family philosophies. We all have our different upbringings, our different mindsets, what we think is good, what we think is, the best way to approach different things. But when we take it back to the word, are we really being functional according to his plans and his purpose? So, and it could feel, kind of harsh when you really think about it and examine your life to realize I'm not as good as I thought I was, because I'm looking at good according to my own definition. When you really look at, am I functioning in my relationships the way that Yah wants me to function, in my household relationships, in my relationships with other believers, And, you know, if you're married, in your marriage, you know, different relationships that you have, are they functioning the way that Yah intended? The food that I put in my body, am I being functional in the way that I'm eating? Am I eating in a functional manner? Is it a way that's bearing good fruit? Am I saying words out of my mouth that is good, that's functional, that's bearing good fruit in other people's lives and in my own life? So for each area of our lives, we have to look at, am I really good? Am I functional? Am I TOWB? Or am I operating in evil, in dysfunction? You know, and what do I need to do to adjust that so that I come into alignment with the word of the Most High, so that I can bear good fruit? And when when the Most High looks at us in our lives, he can also say, wow, it's good. You know, the same way he looked at creation, he said, man, that it was good. You know, I created this and it was good. He should be able to look at our lives and also say, what I see is good, is functional, is according to my purpose and my design. So that's all I wanted to share for today. And I hope that this was gave you some good thoughts, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Shalom.